And welcome to the 2019 World Classic Powerlifting Championships live in Helsingborg, Sweden. This is a six-pack lap of that. And in the booth, we got Joe Stanek. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. How about you?
I am good. I'm running a little high on all the excitement here on Platform 1. We have the 105 juniors about to throw down, and if it's anything like the previous sessions we've had, get ready for some close tilts. 175 for Jesus David Herrera Ortiz of Colombia. Super deep.
A little bit slow to start there.
And three white lights. Ren Sakakibara from Japan, 190 for him. And if you're wondering, the junior world record is currently resting at 330 kilo. And we do have an opener, the Canadian Tremblay, at 305. Within striking distance?
I would say so. From what I know about his training, he is coached by Sweden native Isabella von Weissenberg.
Oh, the squat beast herself.
Yes, so I would expect something big out of him. And we can never count out the other Canadian, actually, Cameron St. Amand. His opener is 320 kilo.
Oh, yeah, there we go. So we might have some Canadians volleyballing around that world record. And 190 for Ren. Nope, depth is an issue.
If I'm correct, yes, I am correct. The world open squat record is only 6 kilos higher at 336. So we may see somebody take a smack at that as a junior lifter.
You know, unless disaster strikes, St. Amand, starting at 320, could easily cross over into 336 for the open world record, especially with this kind of weight being on your back. 16 kilo isn't exactly a big ask, even for a second attempt, but we'll have to see.
If I recall correctly, from coming to your nationals in Canada, he actually only got one squat, and that was for depth.
And, you know, we've seen it happen, even at the World's 210 for Vakim Pereira of Sri Lanka. Yeah, you can never count your chickens before your eggs hatch, so to speak, because a lot of people open up big, you get excited, and it sometimes is the only lift they get on. They still move forward. Even sometimes you see leads diminish once the deadlifts come around, so even the prognosis, looking ahead, numbers can lie.
I was just having this discussion with one of my lifters, actually. I, as a coach, would always, not that it really much matters because you're born this way, but I would always prefer to be the deadlifter. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes people at the subtotal try to tell themselves, well, it's nice to force people to pull uncomfortable numbers. But look, whenever everyone else's day is finished and you still have the last say, it's always going to be the advantageous position, and I would opt to have that. 225 for Mark Stell of Ireland. And that is one tall lad towering over the spotters and loaders. These gentlemen, I don't know how big they look on the stream, but they are monstrous in real life. When you're walking around that warm-up room, humbling is the word that comes to mind.
Especially when you consider how young these lifters are. I mean, I'm not much older than them, to be honest, but looking at them, I feel like they could be 3, 4, 5 years older than me.
Yeah, you say, sir, yes, sir, and I got 15 years on you. Sir, yes, sir. 235 on the bar, being loaded. Jens Heldor from Iceland. Vilhelmsson. And Iceland, even though not a heavily populated nation, a history of strength.
Extremely. I've been lucky enough to visit, and they have quite the strength culture. Wow, a lot of work on that first opener. Yeah. You'll see his knees sort of came in. Ooh.
And he got called.
Yeah,
Depth on one side, a blue on the other.
A little up and down on the bar perhaps there.
Maybe on the lockout. I'm not sure I saw the up down, but
maybe just,
were the knees soft?
Oh, that might have been it, yes.
Looked like the knees were a little soft. But so 245. Hosohata from Japan.
You can tell that some of these lifters are juniors just from the height of their racks. They all seem a little bit tall for the class.
Yeah. Yeah.
There will be some, and then there will be some others that you're like, whoa, they're 105 kilograms?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, some of these, like for instance, Herrera, weighing in at 96 kilo, could easily cut to 93.
Yeah, there's a decent number of lifters in this class that aren't quite filling it out.
Nice depth. Oh, there's
Whoa.
a pause there, isn't there? You know, he hit a pause, and it looked like, a moment. I was second guessing whether he was going to get it. His facial expression never changed. His form never changed. Stuck with it, showing a little bit of maturity as a lifter, despite being a junior. Look at that. He paused there for a good solid second. It does beg the question, is that just a hiccup, or how much of a jump would you make?
Me personally, I would make a small jump. If I have a lifter that has a clear sticking point like that, I'm going to judge it based off of that sticking point and nothing else. It doesn't matter how well the rest of the lift goes, because that's what you have to fight through, and if you don't have the strength to fight through it, there's no use in putting more on the bar.
Yeah, and you only have so many fights. It's a little early to be battling. 250 on the bar. Daniel Villacampa Estalo of Spain. And Daniel, another large gentleman.
Takes it really deep, though.
Yeah. Yeah, our spotters and loaders are not small guys, and these lifters are dwarfing them. We're going to get into some very big weights very quickly. 320 for an opener, 310 for an opener. I mean, it's a whole lot of weight to start with. 250 on the bar.
The New Zealand lifter.
Angus McKay from New Zealand. I spoke with him out back. Couldn't be a nicer guy, very loose and relaxed. I think he's going to get a whole lot more intense as the weight gets heavier, though.
See, he really is working hard to lock his back in there.
Yeah, you want to get tight. Nice tight core. Keep yourself upright. For a big guy, he's got...
Pretty close grip.
Yeah, close grip. Good mobility. He is young. It's the advantage of youth. Well, no question on depth. Nice.
Yeah, looked pretty
smooth.
solid.
Yep.
Little bit of a tilt forward, but not too bad.
Nicely done. And some guys, they're going to squat that way regardless, it's not always the most prettiest.
Yeah, if you get a good look on him, he's got quite a long torso and long femurs. And usually, like if you take a good look, his femurs are just a little bit longer than his torso. Usually, if that's the case, they're always going to have some sort of kick out of the hole early, even if it is an easy lift.
Just to get those hips below the knees. I mean, Lane Norton was famous for, it doesn't matter how it looks, you got to get the hips below the knees, and given your levers, it's not always going to be pretty. 185 on the bar for Herrera. This class, it's a big class, so we're splitting up into two different flights.
Wow.
10-kilo jump.
I thought that was a little bit better than his opener, honestly.
And, yeah, I mean, maybe it was he's just warming up, get a little weight on the back.
Maybe he was a little bit nervous, might be his first international or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also, once you get a taste of the weight in the platform, I mean, the way things feel in the warm-up room is one thing. You get on the platform, you can get a little rattled, oh my gosh, this feels heavy, and you key yourself up a little, raise the intensity, it can do you a lot of good. 190 staying on the bar for Sakaki Bara of Japan. He's hit 212.5 previously in competition. Been competing 5 years despite only being 21, so he is a veteran. Likely been in this situation before. Depth looks good.
Looks better, much better.
Yep. I think he locked the knees.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
well, let's take a look if we have a replay. It's not a slow-mo replay, but it's a different angle.
It's questionable.
Yeah. I think the Japanese coaching staff is at the jury. It's worth a question because now your lifter's getting close to possible elimination. You might as well see if you can have the tide swayed. And 220 on the bar for Pereira. And I think the jury, they're considering it. They didn't ask him to go back to the warm-up room.
Yeah, it seems like they might be overturning it.
10-kilo jump for Vikram from Sri Lanka.
He audibly says, yes.
You know what? I agree. 3-1, 10 more kilo. And there you go. So going to the jury, when I looked from the different angle, I thought it was good. The jury agreed, and now he's no longer possibly facing elimination. Breathe a bit of a sigh of relief. It's worth an ask. As long as you get one white, you're allowed to go to the jury. Might as well have the conversation. You got nothing to lose, really.
Absolutely, and I mean that's just a sign of a coaching staff that knows the rules properly.
230 on the bar. Sorry, 235 on the bar. Haldor, Jens, Wilhelmsen.
As I recall, they called him for downward motion or soft knees, one of those two.
Yep. He's got to lock his knees. Let's see if they like it. 3 white lights. It looked like a big ask, though.
I agree. Something that you'll see on some of these lifters that have the wider stance is when their knees come in below parallel, they can't necessarily get them back out again. So the glutes, for whatever reason, I don't know why we evolved this way, but for whatever reason, when our hips dip below 90 degrees of flexion, the glutes become internal rotators rather than external rotators. So it makes your knees shoot in even more if you have a wide stance. And you have to be able to control that in order to fight through that, and some lifters just can't.
235 for Mark Stell of Ireland. Second attempt, 10-kilo jump.
Really taking his time getting that out of the rack. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? You got 20 more seconds is plenty of time. He gets very tight in the core, very upright. Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, thing of beauty. He's got a lot more in him, I would say.
You can literally see his quads through his knee sleeves.
Yeah, these guys are huge. We got front row seats. They look a lot bigger in real life than if you see them on Instagram. Trust me, 252.5. Hosohata of Japan taking a 7.5-kilo jump, and it's 2.5 kilo more than he's ever squatted before, but the World Championships tend to make you rise to the occasion.
We should look here again for his knees and the ability to keep them out as he comes out of the hole. That'll be what'll help him fight through that stick point.
Depth looks good. Knees stay out.
Wow.
Yeah, that looks really good. 3 white lights, and he is fired up. Look at that.
Arguably the same speed as his last as well.
You know, sometimes some guys, once they fit in the groove, they maintain it, and the weight kind of shifts and moves the exact same speed. The fall off can come quickly. They don't show as many signs as others. Daniel Villacampa Estalo from Spain. 10-kilo jump from his opener. 5 kilo over his personal best in competition lift. We're in uncharted territory already on the second attempts for a few of these gentlemen, and that's where it becomes the risk-reward scenario. How you feeling today? How big of a jump should we take? You want to add kilo to the total without tipping over?
It's one of the things that I love about the Spanish lifters. I don't know if you know this, the national motto of Spain is non terer plus ultra, which means nowhere further beyond. It means basically that you should try to push yourself beyond your limits.
Can I say something? I like that you said it means, because I was going to keep asking you. I'm not sure what that means even after the translation, sir. But that was good. 3 white lights. He's happy with plenty more in the tank.
Yeah, I actually got inspired by a Spanish lifter who had the words plus ultra written on their squat shoes because it means go beyond. I actually did the same. So every time I squat, I look down and I see plus ultra.
Yeah. Well, If you need a little bit of motivation, dig deep. It makes a difference. 15 kilo on the bar. Angus McKay of New Zealand. In New Zealand, they've got some good lifters sprinkled throughout.
You know, they really do, especially even from, I remember the first time watching a Worlds live stream and seeing maybe one or two New Zealand lifters. They have quite the full team this year.
I don't want to fully attribute it to Brett Gibbs, but certainly when you're from a place like New Zealand, you got some other sports like rugby, etc. But when somebody becomes that famous in one sport, it gets the attention, it hits the news waves, and then all of a sudden you start considering it yourself. You have an individual like Angus McKay, big, strong lad, and instead of rugby, picked up powerlifting, all smiles, and he should be, stayed in the pocket, looked like he got 15 kilo on his total. Yep. And that's how we win the athletic youth over to our sport, my friend.
Absolutely.
A little bit of exposure goes a long way.
Instagram definitely helps as well. The sport lives on that platform for sure.
We have stars in our sport that can rival mainstream sports on some of the social media platforms. And it's because, the action, you could see so much of it and recap your whole meet in a couple posts, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, etc. And it's helped the growth of our sport exponentially.
Sure. You can check out the IPS Instagram for all the updates from this meet.
195 on the bar for Herrero Ortiz. 10 kilo jump from his opener, 10 kilo jump from his second attempt. For a second, it looked like he might make it, but
I was afraid it was going to go over his head, honestly.
Yeah, the way he was tilting, and look at these spotters. These are Czech spotters, and they're starting to bring these spotters with them to the Europeans, around the world, to the different locations. They're on the money. They're quick, like a Formula One pit team in terms of spotting and loading, and they're quick with the catches. .205 on the bar for Ren Sakakibera.
Probably what his planned second was going to be.
Yeah, I would assume 15 kilo jump. I don't think he's going to cover that spread with just 3 attempts, but you never know. Either way, it's on the bar now.
Notice he out-toes quite a bit on the unrack. It's very unusual, honestly.
What's that, sir?
He out-toes, so he turns his feet out prior to unracking the bar. That doesn't usually happen with most lifters, but it seems like it saves him some energy. That's a really interesting technique.
I don't know if they're not gonna love that depth. Let's see what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, it moved well, but it half moves that well because you don't hit depth, right?
Yep. It's that extra inch that it's all it really takes to tax you.
Yep. If we all were allowed to squat a stitch higher, the records would look differently. 230 on the bar. Vikram Pereira of Sri Lanka. Not a lot of lifters from Sri Lanka, and glad to see it. It gives an international flavor for it. You want to see all the regions represented. And it also, like we said, helps the sport grow in those regions when they can flip on, see people from their region, people they might recognize. Nice gutty squat. I don't know if the depth is there.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah.
And 240 on the bar. Jens Heldor. He missed 235, made the corrections. It wasn't on strength, it was technicalities. Got it in the second attempt and looking to jump 15 kilo.
I don't necessarily know that only 5.
Sorry, no, yeah, 5 kilo. Hold the phone.
Yeah,
You're about to say you didn't like the jump, but
yeah.
5 kilo sounds reasonable.
Yeah, 5 seems a little bit more reasonable.
It is still 7.5 kilo below his personal best, but obviously he had to travel and there's other factors. He probably was looking to end off somewhere around there. But taking the strategy you often use and sticking with the plan second looks like it was a good plan because that wasn't there either.
Yeah. I can definitely say as somebody who has recently traveled to Iceland, I'm sure that must have affected his ability to lift. It's not an easy place to get to nor to leave. And
Mark Stell of Ireland. 242.5 loaded on the bar for him. We are way above his previous personal best of 225. Hit that in his opener. It's been green ever since. Looking to increase 7.5 kilo from his second attempt.
There's a joke about there and green in the luck of the Irish, but
You're still formulating it. Perfect it and drop it in the bench event. Possibly the deadlifts.
he looks like he'd have a big pull.
Yeah, he certainly does.
I really like his patience in setting up.
Yeah, and at 20 years old, not at all overcome by the moment.
If he's 20, I'm 50.
And you know what? Yeah, it's a humbling experience.
Yes.
3 white lights. He's not only is he 20, in terms of years competing, his profile says up to 1 year. So the type of maturity, poise, in his squat technique, bang on, chest up, you know, he's got a bright future, that's for sure. 3 more years in the juniors as well.
I would not be surprised if we see him at 120 next year.
A lot of these guys in Group A are going to find themselves in Group B by the time they're 22, 23. It's great exposure and experience. Get acclimatized to international judging, get the nerves out. You start knowing how it runs. And, of course, 2-3 years more training. You know how quickly numbers rise in powerlifting. 255. Hosohata of Japan.
Only a 2.5 kilo jump. Probably smart.
Yeah. Depth is there. Yep. Worth a try. If you're going to fail, he didn't exactly give everything he had in a failing effort.
No. He knew immediately out of the hole that wasn't worth the fight.
Mm-hmm. And 265 being loaded for Daniel Villacampa Estalo of Spain. 5 kilo jump for him. He took a 10 kilo jump from his first to his second. Pretty standard stuff. Open light. Make a jump, get a little closer to the edge. And based off how your second feels, decide, is it 5 kilos, is it 7.5 kilo, or are we getting a little closer than we would have liked and it's only 2.5?
Something else that I really like about this lifter is that it seems like he does the same thing every time.
Yeah, don't break a ritual.
Oh,
nope. That right shoulder started giving way on him, and that started helicoptering. It could have ended badly, but the spotters jumped in pretty quick.
Yeah. Needs to add a few pull-off presses to his routine. You ever do those?
Nope. Tell the listeners what that is.
So that is using a cable machine or a band and sort of pulling it laterally towards you and pressing it away and then trying to resist its pull to the side. So the reason that you would do that is you are training the musculature that helps you prevent rotating.
Ah.
So
well, there you go.
You wouldn't
and it's common.
Yes. More common than a lot of people would think.
Yeah, or would like to admit. 275 for Angus McKay of New Zealand. 10 kilo jump, 10 kilo personal best. Yeah, let me tell you, he was such a nice guy out back. He looks like a demon on the platform.
That's how a lot of powerlifters are.
That's how you got to be. Look, intensity really does go a long way. Adrenaline is the ultimate pre-workout, the ultimate stimulant, and his nervous system is ready to rock and roll. Squat technique is right on point. Torso ever so tight, elbows down, chest up. Knees are going to track over those feet. He'll be ready to fight should he have to.
Both platforms taking 275 currently.
Oh, and Angus is going to gut it out.
And what a fight.
Nicely done.
Yes.
3 white lights, and we're already into the 600s. And that was only the second. Wow. For a big man, he kind of covered some ground quickly. That was only 2 lifts of thirds that passed, but the biggest lift. And Angus really putting on a show for the people here in the crowd, and they appreciated it.
Almost taking out his head coach.
Yeah, he's a big guy to come barreling at you. Don't try to catch him. Just get out of the way. 255 on the bar. We're on flight 2, and we're back to our openers. Damien Stanky from Norway. He's hit 270.5, given It's a 270.5. It's a record of some sort, whether it's national or European. Squats is his event. It moved well. It's on the line for depth. We're going to have to see what the judges say.
Good lift.
Whites.
It's interesting. The Norwegians have one of the most unique styles of training out there. They, ever since there was this huge study that they did called the Norwegian Frequency Project that's actually quite famous these days. They took their training where they might normally be training the lifts 3 times a week and did it 6 times a week. So it was extremely successful, and the whole team ever since that point trains that way. They train extremely high frequency, extremely low intensity.
Wow, and I think Dietmar, who's now with Team Germany, living in Germany, was a long-time head coach of Norway.
He was actually one of the originators on the project.
Well, there you go. 260, Dietmar. Whoa.
Whoa.
And good catch by the spotters. He went down, and there was no resistance at the bottom. Hopefully, he's limping off.
Yikes.
They caught it so he wasn't fully planted, but he sunk down, and something gave way right there.
Yikes.
That looks bad. I'd be surprised if he comes back. 260 is going to stay on the bar. And like I said, the spotters and loaders, they're catching him.
Yeah.
They were in there as quick as possible and made sure the weight wasn't pinning anybody and anything got any worse than it was. Ben Wharton of Great Britain. He's hit 272.5.
Ben is coached by my friend Jim Ellie. Also coaches Luke Richardson.
I've heard of him. There we go.
And knowing Jim, of course, he's got his lifter ready to rock and roll. That was a great opener.
Yep. Well done. Back on track. 270 being loaded. Daniel Saber of Sweden.
With a name like Saber, you need to be ready for war.
Well, you're heating up. It's getting better. Nicely done. You got to get him out the way before I do. If I see a name like that, you better kick that ball before I do because I'm running at it too. And 270, he's hit 287.5. The local crowd really rallying behind him. As soon as they see Sweden across that singlet, you know that there's going to be some clapping and cheering. As mentioned in previous sessions, and worth mentioning again, there are billboards outside for this World Championships here. Everybody in town knows in Helsingborg. Oh, nicely done.
Maybe a little bit tougher than he would have liked, but yeah.
You know what? Yeah, maybe some nerves. We have seen the weight increases and the intensity increases, and it kind of stays the same tempo. But you're right. If you're looking at bar speed, 385 being loaded on the bar for William Hemmen of US. He's hit 302.5. Team USA, I'm thinking, you know a little background on this young man?
I do. He's actually an engineer, and powerlifting is his sport that he practices in his spare time.
That sounds like he's got a busy schedule.
Yes, for sure.
At 23. It's pretty mature. Looks like a mature guy. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, when 285 moves like that,
yeah,
he barely had a facial expression change. Like he hopped out of a chair.
Just sort of came out and casually did it.
Yeah.
And from speaking to him, it generally seems like that's what his personality is.
Yeah, well, you see all kinds, from there to Screamer Manuel and everything in between.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the newer lifters on our team, so he's definitely experiencing his first international right now, and from talking to him, it seems like he's more excited about the food here in Sweden, to be honest.
Well, he's, to a certain point, you want to be a little emotionally detached and not be overcome by the moment. 285 by the Russian, who is not overcome by the moment nor the weight. That was also very easy.
I think, I don't know how you feel about this, but I often think that a lot of lifters, especially if it's their first real big meet, they'll just sort of talk about other things other than the meet to distract themselves from that, and that's how they get through the meet and do well.
Aksenikov takes 285 fairly easy, 295 for Emil Norlin of Sweden. And I think you might be right. Stay busy and don't overthink it. You don't want to dwell.
Emil here is the reigning European champion and is the favorite to win today, which I'm sure he would love to do here in his home country.
Yeah, especially in the home country. Couldn't write the script any better.
Happen to know he's an excellent puller, but also an excellent squatter, just destroying 295 kilos.
Well, apparently, proof is in the pudding. 3 white lights, that was plenty deep. And 305, Luc Tremblay of Canada. He's hit 312.5. He's within striking distance of the world record, and so is his teammate. Both massive squatters.
You can hear his coach, Isabella von Weissenberg, cheering for him from the crowd.
Yep. You know, he's one of those guys where both of his hips are not on the same level, so one judge might call it different than the other.
Yeah.
But nope.
Lights.
3 whites. Even better. And 320 for Cameron Saint-Amand of Canada. We are only 10 kilo away from the junior world record and 16 kilo away from the open world record. Both of those in danger depending how this moves.
And I remember seeing this young man on Instagram last year, unofficially squatting the world record in a local competition in Canada.
Yeah, he's taking this opener a lot more serious than some of the other lifters we've seen. And if this is your event that you want to cover some ground in, nothing wrong with that. You look a little shaky, though. I'm not sure about depth. Let's see what they say. That was a little shaky.
Yeah.
More shaky than... So in terms of openers, you've seen some individuals come out and just smash them and move past them. And we're saying not a change of facial expression. Here's another shot here. Oh, the core was shaky. The knees were shaky. That was definitely high.
Yeah, just a bit.
I'm not sure if it's nerves or...
Yeah, and it seems like the Canadian coaching staff didn't even bother going to the jury.
No, well, no. That was they probably saw it. You know what? You
Yeah.
got to pick your battles.
Yeah, for sure.
And 260 loaded on the bar. Setin Tala of Turkey.
This is the gentleman whose hip looks a little scary on his opener. Hopefully he's okay. Well, obviously he's okay if he's out here.
Well, I'm surprised, but he limped off. The spotters are going to be very close on him. That's for sure. Depth is there. Oh, wow.
Definitely better.
And he's still kind of limping, but he must be all types of tough. They build him tough in Turkey, my friend. 260
Strangely.
on 1.5 hips.
I don't think have you seen any other Turkish lifters here? I have not.
No, they sent one, and they sent him because he's a one-man army. 265. Damien Stanky of Norway. This is a 10-kilo jump. He's hit 270.5. Should be reasonable. Norway fairly close. He's getting pretty intense for it. Same as his opener, though. This is how he approaches the bar. Very tight. His body's reverberating. He gets so tight, pulling that bar into his back. It'd wrap around his body if it wasn't an Alico bar.
A little uneven on the way down.
Yep.
No problem, though.
Let's see if they like the depth. The unevenness can sometimes, 3 white lights, sometimes when you're a little uneven, the hips don't exactly settle, but strong enough to overcome that. I've seen sometimes also lifters come in and the bar isn't exactly straight on their back.
And oftentimes that'll be either maybe a difference in mobility or a difference in the strength of the musculature on their back. Or sometimes it might just be that the
setup, you didn't realize it, and then halfway down you do, but a little late. Ben Wharton of Great Britain, 272.5. We're into the 600s once again. 12.5 kilo jump. This is matching his previous best in competition. Already in his second lift, but at 22, you can expect that.
Really intense.
I was going to say, he walked that out like he could jog with it. Deep.
Wow.
Confident. That was previously his best. Sometimes a lifter is a little shy when they're approaching that kind of weight that this is the most I've ever squatted before. Not afraid to hit depth. Casually walked that out like he was going to jog it back.
If I know Jason Coltman, the head coach from GB, I'm sure he made sure that he's done more in training.
Well, it was no major ask. So definitely the right call in an appropriate second. 277.5. Daniel Saber of Sweden. Depth looks good. Pretty strong squat. I think it looks good from my angle. 2 to 1.
You can just hear the Swedish.
Yeah.
Do you believe home field is an advantage?
I think so. Look at
powerlifting?
if I go to the gym and it's just myself, all right, I could get myself a little riled up. If I go to the gym, load up a weight, and everybody sees the weight I loaded, they stop, turn around, and look at me. The adrenaline kicks in, and it's for myself. It helps. Not everybody's the same. $295 on the bar, 10 kilo increase. Vladislav of Russia.
That should definitely be no problem for him. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's work, but, he's so poised and controlled in there that he can work through it. And what do you feel like in terms of the home court advantage, sir?
I think that for powerlifting, I think it's less so, but it also depends on who's around you. So when I said home court advantage, like just, being in that country, for example, I think that's maybe not quite as much of an advantage. But like you said, if you're at the gym with all of your training partners and friends cheering you on, absolutely.
And everybody's different. But if I'm in Canada and I look out and I see a sea of Canadians and Canadian flags and they're cheering for me, call me a hopeless romantic, my man, but it might be enough. Although sometimes the kilos are just too much. 300 kilo, 15 kilo jump. Hemmen of U.S. William Wild Bill Hemmen.
Wow.
Easily handles 300 kilo. That looked like an opener.
Super easy.
His previous best was 302.5. What kind of a jump do you think then?
If I know Eric Bodhorn, and I do, I'm going to say probably 10. Because Eric is Mr. Conservative.
Okay, well, there's something to be said for building total. And look at the cheers coming. Emil Norlin of Sweden is going to attempt 305 kilo. 10 kilo jump for him.
Oh, and he nods his head. He knows.
He knew it was good long before the lockout, letting the crowd know. Fist pump, and the crowd loves this guy.
He's a bit of a showman, honestly.
Yeah, he is. Look at, if the crowd's giving you the energy, give them back, and they'll reciprocate. Now, 310, 5 kilo jump for Luc Tremblay. It's not a big jump for a 105 class when you got that kind of weight on your back, but perhaps 305, he's thinking, you know what? Let's take 5, see how it moves, and make a call from there.
Yeah. Luc's one of those examples of a lifter. Oh, yeah.
Bares his teeth.
Wow.
He was going to fight for that one.
Fortunately, he didn't need to.
It just moves so smooth. Sometimes the facial expressions lie. And they always bare their teeth like they're going to fight, even though the bar never slows.
Honestly, I would argue that looked a little bit better than his opener.
He's just revving up. Now, yeah, 5 more kilos. So 320 for Saint Amand of Canada. If Saten from Turkey can come back and hit 260 after what looked like a devastating, in the bottom of the hole injury, and apparently wasn't, I'm starting to believe 320's got to be there. He looked a little shaky. Maybe if he just steadies himself. Nervous system's now turned on. He's got a taste for the weight.
And this definitely isn't his first World Championships. I believe this is his third, actually.
Nope. Yeah, mentally he's probably there. Body's probably got a little bite for it.
That looked better.
Yeah, he's definitely not as shaky. Did he cut the depth, though? He wasn't as shaky, but then he might be a little shy on depth because of, And look I'm Canadian, and I'm going to tell you, it looks like the depth might have been a little high. We'll see from the other angle here. He's capable.
If I were the Canadian coaches, and it seems, that's like right on the border. It could go either way. Yeah, the Canadian coaching staff is coming over to the jury currently.
The Canadian coaching staff pretty much has to, because he's facing elimination if he misses one more. And the next time, you might not have a white. You need a white light to be able to approach the jury. So while you do have a white light, ask the question. And Tala Saten of Turkey had a bit of a scare with 260, came back and nailed it, adds 10 more kilo. The spotters and loaders are going to pay very close attention. There. Whoa. Yeah, he raises his right knee. This guy is all types of tough. I tell you what, showing the heart of a lion.
But was that worth it?
Well, if you're a hopeless romantic,
maybe.
Don't look too far down the road, Joe. Don't paint a bad ending to this story. Ride the wave.
I mean, if you have to death it, though.
Yeah. No, I got you. We'll see shortly. If he's a conventional puller, hips are high. It's not as much. If he's a sumo puller, well, you might have to think about conventional. We'll see. 275. Damien Stanky from Norway. 10 kilo jump. And a 4.5 kilo personal best if he hits it.
Interesting. He rolled his sleeves up. Never seen that before.
Rolled his sleeves up?
Yeah, on his shirt. He rolled his sleeves up.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I was looking at his knee sleeves. But, putting on a show. He's a showman.
Oh.
It's, okay, so it moved well, but I'm not convinced on the depth. 50-50. And so are the judges. Unfortunately, the tiebreaker went the other way.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Maybe he's trying to distract the judges by rolling the sleeves up. Not going to work. Cut your eye, though.
I don't know. Is that actually something you're allowed to do? Don't you need to be touching the bar with a certain amount of...
I think he still was touching the bar, looking at that from the angle, but you're right. He passed by the controller, so...
I guess so.
277.5 for Daniel Saber of Sweden. Missed it on a second, looking to retake it on his third.
I will say, in my mind, I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to expose the smooth of the bar to your skin.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there.
Nope. Oh, nope.
And again, nice catch by the spotters loaders. 282.5 being loaded on the bar for Ben Wharton of Great Britain.
Should be, yes, a 10 kilo jump for him. That seems reasonable after that 272. That was one of the easier seconds we saw.
And 272 is previous personal best, but at 22 years old, this young man is making fast progress. Judge just wants to...
Oh, it looks like there was a bit of a misload there.
Nice catch by the head ref, and that's why he's there. These guys, they're here for hours every day, and they're going to catch the details. Eyes of an eagle. Not just to call you for infractions, but also for your safety. There you go. It takes a team.
I was fortunate enough to meet Ben last year in the UK. He's made an incredible amount of progress since then.
Yeah, well, apparently we're going 10 kilo over his personal best. Let's see if he has it. Amping himself up. Oh, a little uneven, but I think he's uneven last time as well. He walks him out quick. Depth is good. Oh, wow, what a fight. Yeah. Look at him. Gives the pat to the weights like, maybe next time, young fella, but I took you this one. 3 white lights.
You see him give a handshake to Jim? One of the things that I love watching after a lifter makes a big lift like that is looking over at the coach. You'll see such differing reactions.
Yeah. And 302.5 being loaded on the bar. Vladislav of Russia. 7.5 kilo jump. If temporarily, putting him into a bronze medal position for the squad event. And throwing 7.5 kilo towards his total. Important lift. Looking at the projected, and we got a long ways to go, but he's definitely a contender for the podium. 7.5 more kilo will help the cause. Deep. Whoa, that is strong.
Honestly, a bit easy.
Because it slowed, and it looked like with the horsepower he has, he could almost power through anything. You have the feeling, the way he handled that.
I think another 2.5 might have been the right call, but
Yep.
no problem with holding on to a few kilos for the deadlift.
Yep. 312.5. Wild Bill William Hammond.
Did I not say 10 kilos? Oh, Eric, proving me wrong.
He'll see your 10 and raise you 2.5. Looking to go 3 for 3. Hammond handled his second really easy.
This will also secure him a bronze medal in the squat.
And, yeah, I mean, temporarily in first, gold, and possibly bronze. He's light. He's lighter, so for sure bronze. Maybe better. What color's that medal? We're about to find out. 312.5. Listen to the place. Go nuts for Emil Norlin of Sweden. They love him, and he loves it. 7.5 kilo. And you ask me, sir, if home court is an advantage, I think I can feel the energy. Transferred onto the bar.
Let's see if he feels the energy. Oh, yes, he does.
Yes, sir, he does. And look at him give right back to the crowd, playing it up. Yes, sir, 3 white lights. If we could harness it, you could keep the lights on with the energy in this house. Nicely done. 315 for Luke Tremblay of Canada. 2.5 kilo personal best. 5 kilo jump from his second attempt. We both thought moved like his opener did.
Yes. I'm sure this wasn't plan A for him, but regardless, it'll be everything that he has on the day if he gets it.
I tell you what, everything he has on the day would move him into a gold medal in the squats at the World Championship. Depth is the same. Oh, wow, stick the tongue out. He, too, can show a little bit of showmanship. And I'll take that gold medal, sir.
All right, here we go.
Back-to-back Canadians now. Cameron St. Amand facing elimination. This is the ultimate all or nothing. He hits it, gold. He misses, cannot register a total for the rest of the competition. All comes down to one lift in the squad event. I wish it wasn't this dramatic, but it is.
Cameron's no stranger to this weight. He wouldn't be opening with it if he didn't think he has it. He's just got to sink a little bit deeper.
Crowd yelling, this is easy. Trying to get behind him. There's Canadians traveled across the Atlantic to show him support. Depth is better. Depth was better that time. Was it good enough? Let's see. It was definitely better. He makes it! Squat gold medal. Back to the wall, and Cameron comes out swinging, and there you have it, a dramatic squat session for the 105 juniors. Do not go anywhere. We will be back in 10 minutes. You cannot miss this. Joe, and six-pack lap of that. See you in 10. And welcome back to the 2019 World Classic Powerlifting Championships, live from Helsingborg, Sweden. Six-pack Lapidat and Joe Stanek in the booth for the 105 Juniors. And we're picking back up in the bench press event. 115 on the bar for Pereira from Sri Lanka. Joe, did you have an update you wanted to drop, or?
Well, namely the American lifter, Will. He wanted me to first shout out to his coach who lives in Alaska. He's also from Alaska.
Wow.
And he tells me that he regularly trains with very little sleep due to the amount of light. So most people don't know that the light doesn't really go down here in Sweden until about 10 p.m.
That's right.
And
I've noticed.
He seems to think that it's a bit of an advantage for him.
As well as any time zone changes, etc., he's used to lack of sleep.
But beyond that,
115 looks good.
he said that was the easiest a third squat has ever been for him. He's been competing 3 years and has never had something that easy happen for him. Speaking of the American, here he comes now.
William Hemming. 160 kilo is his personal best. 155 kilo loaded on the bar, but he's having a personal best kind of day. Likely to breeze past that.
Actually, wait a second. That doesn't make any. That doesn't. Nope.
That would not. Okay.
There we go. That's why this is. That was the.
Because he would be in the second flight.
Yeah.
I was just thinking myself. Okay, 120, and yeah, William's probably like, hold on, I haven't even warmed up yet.
Oh yeah.
Hang on. So 120 being loaded on a bar. Sakaki Bera from Japan. And yeah, just a reminder, we have 2 flights going because there's so many 105 juniors. So we are in flight A. We will do all 3 of the attempts and then move on to flight B openers. Going over to lift off. It's always good to do that. Get the bar dropped off exactly where you want it, how you want it.
I'm not sure whom you've spoken to, but I also have a little info on the Russian. His goal today is the world junior bench press record, which is currently 213.5. He's opening up at 192.5, so definitely not out of range.
3 white lights for Ren. Yeah, it's within reach.
So since my last time commentating alongside you, I've received a little info on how to scout the Russian lifters.
How is that?
They have a Facebook-like social media network called VK. So I'd like to give a shout out to Pete Spencer, who's the number 2 guy at SBD. He's the one who told me about that. So thank you, Pete. And I was able to kind of look and see. They post all of their training on there all the time. It's like an Instagram and Facebook kind of thing combined.
And you just dropped it live on the air. The word is out now. 135 for Kyusuke Hosohata.
See, I know none of the people who really need that info, though, are really listening because they're all in the back right now.
Well, if it's not just pertaining to this weight class, but I'll check it out later and let the Canadian coaching staff know. 135. Looks good.
I think that's the first Japanese lifter that I've ever seen that doesn't have some sort of arch in their bench press.
Yeah, you know what? That's a pretty marginal arch for a Japanese lifter.
Many people around the IPF know the Japanese are famous for their excellent bench press technique.
Any bench press only world championships will be littered with top flight Japanese lifters. 140, Herrera Ortiz. Lifting 1 year, this is already going to be a personal best for him. You can expect that at 21 when you've been competing 1 year. Gains are quick.
Bit slow.
Yeah, well, gets the job done. 3 whites. He could be a little more conservative now. He's on the board. And Angus McKay from New Zealand, who brought all types of intensity. Look at him. He's got a cheering section he brought with him. waving to the crowd. 142.5 on the bar for him.
If you have a look behind us, you could see that they have the New Zealand flags
Yeah,
waving.
the Kiwis, they're vocal, they're friendly, and they come pretty big at times, apparently.
Angus making a veteran move here, pulling the lead spotter aside and saying, this is exactly how I want the bench press. If you do not already do that, you're not taking good advantage of that full minute you have to get your start command. No one wants to risk a bad handoff.
No, I can change how the whole bench plays out for you.
You'll see he has a little bit of the Japanese style of grip.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually told recently by the Japanese that they grip that way because they believe it creates a better line of power through their arm.
Well, seemed to work for Angus. 3 white lights. And 242.5 on the bar for Jens Wilhelmsen of Iceland. Should move well. He's hit 155 previously. A little over 300,000 people in all of Iceland, and the amount of top flight athletes they produced in the CrossFit Games Championship. If you like football or North America soccer, made it to the European Championship, World Cup, obviously several times strongman champions.
When you said 300,000, I thought for a second you meant that's how many people were watching us. Started sweating instantly.
I would have better prepared myself, sir. White lights, and he moves on. 155. Daniel Villacampa Estalo. True story. 2016 was my first time commentating at the World Championships, and it was day 2, and talking nervous, I got asked, do you mind if we have a co-commentary with you? Okay, sure. Who is it? It's going to be Bill Kazmar. And I was like, okay, wowzers, am I leading? What the? No pressure.
I've never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I've heard he can be quite intense.
Yeah, he's a character. Nice press. 3 white lights. I was trying to do my job while not fanboying all over him. Everything he said I agreed with, even if a session before I clearly on the record didn't with certain form advice, and whatever you say, Bill. Anyways, we've been close friends ever since. 170 on the bar for Mark Stell of Ireland.
170 bench, you would not think looking at him that his bench press was that high.
Yeah, he's got long arms, and he's got the arms of a deadlifter.
I would venture to say he probably just has a very good
He also has long legs, though, so it's a long way up regardless of the long arms.
Very true. Yeah, quite a good arch technique.
Wow, nicely done.
That's still such a far
It's
bench
still,
press, though.
he could, yeah, the levers aren't on his side. Still, I think for his day-to-day life, he will keep that extra 6 inches of height.
Get him to reach the top shelves.
That's right. 122.5. Pereira of Sri Lanka. He hit 115, 7.5 kilo jump. 105 is his previous best. Now we're way past that.
So in the brief exchange that I was able to have with the Sri Lankan coach, he said that this is his lifter's first international meet, and that he used the word nervous, and that was kind of all I got out of it.
Well, it pretty much sums it up. Ooh, nope. But I tell you what, first meet, nerves, they know how to play the game. Get that first lift in, and then you could gamble a little.
Didn't work out in this case, but that's okay.
125.
Actually, on that replay, it looks like his head almost lifted off the bench a little bit.
Ren Sakaki Bera of Japan adding 5 kilo. It will equal his personal best. Ooh, it's a little too much. And 2 up, 2 down for the second attempts. We're going to see if his teammate, Hosohata from Japan, can break the trend. Jumping 5 kilo from 135 to 140, also equaling his previous personal best.
Takes the time to center the bar. Lifters have 1 minute to receive the start command in the bench press. So might as well take advantage of that full minute.
Mm-hmm. Don't rush. Is he doing a self lift-off? I don't think I remember a self lift-off previously. No, judges gonna help him out. And it's nice of him to hop up there if he thinks language might be a barrier and not just keep him waiting so the clock ticks down on him. Ooh.
No.
Nice catch by the spotters. And all right, well, 3 up, 3 down, 145 for Herrera Ortiz of Colombia. 21 years old, student, competing 1 year. And we're past his personal best, but at 21 and competing 1 year, that's not to be entirely surprising.
And sometimes, like Japan, that's not exactly the quickest flight in the entire world. Sometimes that travel is just going to get a hold of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not manifest in the first lifts.
Yeah, the bar gets heavier, and then it starts bringing out the travel, the time zone change, the weight cuts. Manages it well.
Wow.
Picks up another 5 kilo.
I would say no more than 2.5 is probably going to be there.
So I do have a bit of background for Cameron St. Mon of Canada. Back to the wall, had 1 squat attempt left, about to bomb out, hits it and takes the gold. He said had a hard time getting time off work, flew in very late, was not water loading on the plane, weighed in a kilo over, and instead of using the time to rehydrate, had to continue to cut, then weigh in again, just made it, turned around, and here we are squatting 320 kilo, relatively quickly turn around. 147.5 for Jens Wilhelmsen of Iceland.
Now, do you know if Cameron, if
3 white lights.
if he normally has to cut at all, or if he doesn't cut?
No, he's got to cut. Enough, put it this way, when I was in the warm-up room and they were about to come out from squatting, I seen the young man on his knees saying a prayer. So he was, I don't know if he's praying for a miracle, but certainly felt inclined to look for a higher power to get through that. 150 on his second attempt, 7.5 kilo jump from his opener. Looks to be having the time of his life. Angus McKay of New Zealand.
Angus is one of those lifters that's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
Sort of reminds me of Ellis McLean a little bit.
You know, because he's all smiles, nice guy.
Exactly.
But unlike Ellis, with that squats, he became all business near the end when the weight got heavy enough. I think in the bench press, kind of holding serve, eat what's there, save the intensity, and I'm sure it's going to ramp back up once the deads start. He does have a nice setup for a big man. Nicely done. 3 whites.
What would you go there, 2 or 5?
Maybe 5. But I'm becoming a believer.
All right, I'll say 2. Want to wager another coffee on that?
Did I win last time?
No, I did.
Okay. Well, yep, let's double or nothing it. All right. Well, I should have just hesitated because I was too quick. 2.5 it is. 2 coffees in the hole I am. And 160 kilo for Villa Campa Estalo of Spain. Daniel wants a 5 kilo jump from his opener and 5 more kilo onto his total. Ooh, a little untidy, but it's there. Now I would definitely think 2.5 for him.
For sure. Yeah, so sometimes you'll see with some of these lifters, I'm not quite sure if we can tell on this replay, but the mistake that they'll make is they'll finish the bench by sort of letting their shoulders come out of retraction and depression, which is what gives them that position in the first place. So it becomes really unstable upon the lockout.
177. Mark Stell of Ireland. 7.5 kilo jump. Way past his previous personal best of 165 kilo.
And he is a personal trainer and has not even been competing for a year. What a combo.
You can only assume he's been weightlifting far longer. Oh, nicely done. Handled 7.5 kilo jump pretty good. 3 whites.
Very nice.
And 122.5 once again for Pereira of Sri Lanka. Missed it on his second attempt. Looking to retake it. If he can hit it, it's 7.5 more kilo to his total.
Missed this on his last one.
Whoa, looks like he's going to miss it again.
In the same way.
Yeah. I think you're right when you said his head rises. I think when it hits the chest, the head comes off the bench.
Yeah, and actually, so that's kind of interesting. You'll sometimes see that happen in lifters. They'll purposefully let all of the tension out of their upper back and neck and allow their head to rise because they believe that it helps them. Obviously, it's a rule that your head can't leave the bench in the IPF in the first place, but beyond that, I think that I just disagree with the technique in the first place.
Yeah, you got to keep your tension and coil the spring as opposed to just letting loose, getting soft on the bottom.
Mass moves mass, and if there's less mass touching that bench, there's less transfer of force. It just makes no sense.
Yep. Tight is always a good transfer of force. 120, once again, Sakakibara of Japan. Not there today.
A lot of misses so far.
Yep, we've had a few. However, they've all picked their openers wisely, and if you get the opener in, you're going to advance towards the deadlifts. Regardless, 140 again. Hosohata from Japan. He's hit 140 before. Can he make the adjustments and hit it again today? 20 years old. Already a giant.
Another self-lift off as well. I don't know why he took a handoff in the first one and then...
Well, maybe he didn't like it, and he's trying to be polite about it.
Could be. Oh, nope.
today.
Rather unfortunate.
150. Jesus David Herrera Ortiz. Hit 145. That was a 5-kilo jump from his opener. We got a 5-kilo jump from his second.
If I recall his second correctly, I think 5 was not the right call, but we will see.
You were thinking 2.5? Yeah.
Yes. His lift looked good, but not quite 5 kilo good.
Not 5 kilo good.
Oh,
Moly. Oh my goodness. This guy's determined to make you a liar.
Holy
Holy
moly.
smokes. What is keeping this bar moving
Oh
upwards?
my goodness.
How is that possible?
I've never been more happy to be wrong.
What? Did he jump the rack man? Oh, no. Oh, man, that's like a really good movie with a bad ending. Oh, that's disappointing because I can't believe how slow that was rising.
Look at that. Look at
It doesn't make sense from the halfway point up. All right, well,
That's incredible.
that was 5 kilo good. Let's give him that.
Yeah.
2.5 kilo jump for Angus McKay. 152.5 kilo loaded on the bar. That might have been that's the most entertaining bench press I've seen today.
I've never
It
seen
defies
a slower,
logic almost.
I've literally never seen a slower bench press.
All the way up. Come on, Angus. A little too much.
Yeah, just a bit. Oh, wow, and shaking the spotter's hands. What a class act.
Yeah. And you know what? We haven't had a successful third attempt yet. 155 being loaded. Vilhelmsson from Iceland jumping 7.5 kilo, looking to change the tide in the third attempts. He's hit this before. Can he hit it again at the world stage?
It's got a very interesting setup. Don't see many lifters tuck in through the bench that way.
Ooh. Things got off to a rocky start quick.
And we are having no luck so far with third attempts.
Not yet. Well, a 2.5 kilo jump for Daniel's third attempt. It's conservative. Smallest jump you can ask for. And possibly we're going to buck the trend and see a little bit of green on the scorecard for the third attempt benches. Representing Spain. He was a strong squatter. Looking to go 3 for 3 here.
And most importantly, add 2.5 kilos to their total. I think a lot of lifters, especially when I'm coaching them for some reason, seem to get offended when I say, let's go 2.5. But you know what? That's 2.5 kilos towards your total. It's 2.5 kilos that you have to deadlift less.
Yep.
Ooh, bit of a grind.
It was a grind at the top, but I think we have our first.
Yes. And his
And
coach
they-
is thrilled.
Yeah, well, there you go. A hard fought 2.5 kilos, but it's there. Getting hugs all around from the teammates, and 180 loaded on the bar. Another 2.5 kilo jump. Mark Stell of Ireland.
Big attempt for him. 15 over his best.
Yeah, he's been making some quick progress. 20 years young. not at all overcome by the moment, has risen to the occasion and just hitting some personal bests left, right, and center. Wow.
Pretty solid.
That was solid. 2.5 might have been conservative.
Hey, he got it though. 180 is a big milestone, and his coach flashes some finger guns at him as they run off the platform together.
Double figure gun action. We're going right into flight 2 or flight B. 150 loaded on the bar. We're back at openers.
As I said, look out for that Russian lifter opening on 192.
Yeah, he's opening rather high, and if it moves well, we could see a world record attempt. Damien Stanky from Norway. 150 loaded on the bar.
Taking a nice big bench arch.
Wow.
Wow, super easy.
Yeah, he was definitely not toeing the line with his opener.
There we go.
3 white lights. 255 for William Hemmen of U.S.
So as I mentioned before, Will is from Alaska, where USA Powerlifting, our national federation, is housed.
It's housed in Alaska. I didn't know that.
It is, it is. Dr. Larry Maley and IPF legend Priscilla Ribic, among others, live there. Where there's actually quite a few strong lifters from Alaska. Natalie Hansen, powerlifting world champion, is also from there.
So you were saying, William told you he's having the day of his life. Well,
Yeah.
that was 5 kilo away from his previous personal best, and judging by that, his previous personal best is far long behind him.
Took a bronze medal in the squat on body weight, as well as a 10 kilo PB. Also just graduated from college or university, whatever you call it.
Daniel Saber, 165 for his opener.
That's a thing that I don't think a lot of people remember about these lifters. They're still juniors. Many of them are still in high school, apprenticeship, or some kind of university. And they
Yeah.
have to balance that with training for this sort of a thing.
You could be a student with a job, girlfriend, and training for the World Championships. Talk about busy and juggling with some real life problems.
I remember during my own university days, I would train up until 1 o'clock in the morning when the university gym would close because that's the only time I could get it in.
Yep.
Ooh.
And that, for an opener, is a little distressing for one of the home country lifters.
It's not a good start. It's the literal worst situation you could ever be in. Now, it looks like on the replay that he really lost his position upon pressing.
165 stays in the bar for Ben Wharton of Great Britain. Let's hope he handles 165 a little easier than the Swedish lifter.
You can see he really is using his thighs to hug the bench.
Yeah.
It's a... Ooh. Wow.
Breezed past it.
Ooh, and he sticks his tongue out, and not in a good way.
I didn't catch that. He didn't like it. He felt something he didn't like, you think?
You know what? You can see he really rolled his shoulders forward in the bottom. He has a quite aggressive eccentric to his bench press, which I personally am not a huge fan of as a coach because I think that sort of a thing is more prone to happen. You'll lose position easier. I don't necessarily want you to tempo bench it, but a little bit more control, slightly softer touch.
Cameron St. Amand, and I gotta agree, a soft touch. 172.5. Now, if water cutting was a problem and is right up to the wire to make weight, the longer the meet goes, he's probably rehydrating more and more and going to get stronger and stronger. And you've seen it in the squats. Took him 3 attempts, but we got there. They're really scrutinizing whether his butt's on the bench. I didn't see a whole lot of movement.
Yeah, I didn't. Good lift.
3 white lights.
That's actually 5 kilos lower than his original opener that was put in. I don't know if you saw, but the Canadian coaching staff came and changed it down 5 kilo.
Yeah, perhaps after the squats, they're thinking, look, sell this to me, and we could talk about raising it, but let's not have the same drama every time out. And that's what I like to see is if your lifter has an opener and it took him 3 times to hit it in the squats, please adjust in the bench, and possibly even a deadlift. You only have so many fights. If he wants to cover ground in the final bench, that's fine. Final dead.
All right, we're getting into some of our really big benchers here.
Yeah, 180 for Tala of Turkey. He's hit 190, so this is within his means. He's got to watch those heels being flat.
Ooh, yeah. Still somehow received the start command.
Foot still looks relatively flat. 2-1, so the judge on that side might have seen that. I'm not sure. We're on the wrong side. That heel looks pretty flat. Who knows? It's also a game of angles when you're up there, so you can see her looking down on the heel.
She's like, oh, no.
We can't see the heel, but we can see the judge staring at it. 185, Luke Tremblay, who had one hell of a squat event, looking to build on that momentum.
His bench press personal best is 200.5 kg, which I think we can assume is the Canadian national record.
At the very least, it was, and
very solid.
Ooh. If he had to work for a squat opener, no major effort needed for his bench opener. 185, Emil Norlin, good-looking kid, crowd favorite. Listen to the crowd go wild for this guy. It could be the fact that we have on both platforms 2 Swedes coming out at the same time, and it's like the perfect storm.
And Emil, the heavy favorite to win now.
Yeah, and he's living up to the hype, but you don't want to get ahead of yourself. We've seen disaster strike when people do. And if you're going to stay in the pocket like that, it's hard for disaster to strike. I like the strategy. Team Sweden not risking anything. And he's on the board. 192 for Vladislav.
Ooh, Emil's going to have to watch that. I don't know if you saw on the replay. His butt was this close to being off the bench press.
I diverted my eyes. Hopefully it doesn't become an issue as the weight increases. Vladislav going over the handoff, and judging by how well this moves, we'll get an idea how much of a good bench day he's going to have. A good bench day could equal a world record. A so-so bench day could equal, if nothing else, possibly a gold medal on the bench. But he's got a tough field. Well, a good bench day, it looks like it is. 192.5, moving ever so quickly.
So in order to continue towards that world record, he would need to jump 10 kilos there.
And that, honestly, ordinarily, I know a 10-kilo jump sounds big. It's all percentage-wise. He's already got a big bench. The way that moved, he's got a lot in the tank.
Yeah, and I think for people who generally bench press over 185-ish kilos, that's a reasonable jump from first to second.
If you saw a lighter weight class gentleman squatting 185, move up 10 kilo, you wouldn't even blink twice. So it all makes sense. It's all relative. 162.5. Damien Stanky of Norway hit 150, jumping 12.5 kilo. He's hit 167.5 previously. It is a pretty big jump for bench.
Yeah, 12.5. 12.5 is
around that weight range. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a big jump.
It all depends with what the lifter's comfortable with. This could be par for the course for him. handled it well.
Yeah.
Does a couple things for him. When you start that much lower than what you're capable of, you're almost never going to be in danger of bombing because it's so much lower in capabilities. You're also maintaining your enthusiasm and your adrenaline levels, and nervous system-wise, you're not taxing a lot, so you got a lot of fight in you if you need to for your thirds. And 162.5 for William Hemmen as well. Same weight, but a much smaller jump, 7.5 kilo. Still a personal best, though.
It's definitely a good call.
Yeah, judging by his squats, he's having one of those days. Make hay while the sun shines.
Incredible.
Yeah, you know, it's the arms are shaking, but it's no indicator. The engine's just revving, that's all. And this guy is calm, cool, collected every time out. Up on onto the platform, no sign of nervousness. Walking away from the platform like a day in the office, not ready to celebrate just yet. 165 for Daniel Saber of Sweden, and we're a little bit worried. The Swedes are getting behind their man, and he's gonna need it.
Yeah, his opener was really, really hard.
And it was hard in the way that would indicate possibly a lack of strength. Now, a little bit of motivation and inspiration could do wonders.
And you never know. Sometimes with bench press especially, if your positioning is just a little bit wrong.
Yeah, par path is everything. Whoa.
There we go.
There you have it. 3 white lights. Back in the game. Look at it. He lays there for a second, almost in disbelief. Oof. Shaking his head. Wowzers. He's got a smile on his face.
Might be a wee bit lightheaded.
You think so? Yeah, we can't see. But
bench press is definitely one of those lifts that position is important, and if you're the slightest bit off, it can make it so much harder.
There's so much that goes into the setup. And then with the touch point, when you're at lockout, the touch point isn't a straight line from there. So if you cut too early, too soon, whatever. Ben Wharton of Great Britain, 172.5, 7.5 kilo jump, and 7.5 kilo personal best. Should he get it? And he does. Sticking point, but battles through it.
Now notice he touched a hair lighter than the last time. He didn't really dump it and roll his shoulders forward, and that was arguably a better press, just a hair slower.
Making the proper adjustments. Probably his coaching staff seen what you've seen, had a quick conversation with him, and said, look, the weight's getting heavier. We got to tighten up on the technique now. Cameron St. Amand from Canada, 180 kilo on the bar, 7.5 kilo jump, 185 is the best he's ever hit. He's on pace for a best performance bench. Is he rehydrated? Is he back in the game? How's he feeling? We're about to find out. Nothing short of peak form is going to move 180 off his chest.
You can hear the Canadian coaching staff yelling at him to get in there and get tight.
Self lift off.
Ooh.
Hesitation on the press command, but he gets it. You know what?
No.
I didn't. I'm going to have to see another angle. Those are two side judges, and they got different view. Let's take a look here.
But, oh, yep.
And it was, you know, the press command.
Yeah, not.
Wasn't the friendliest, and sometimes you need a little extra heave when it's been resting on your chest. So it is what it is. It moved well enough. He looks strong.
For sure.
I would think hold at 180.
Yeah, I think that would probably be a good move. The reason that press command was so long was when he got it down to his chest, it wasn't quite motionless. He was sort of shaking. And the rule, of course, is the bar must be motionless for the head referee to call press. So if he can make that adjustment, it should move well. I don't know if it's worth the risk going up. And
I would think not. Canadian coaching staff agrees. 10
Yes.
kilo jump, 190 in the bar for Talo of Turkey. And he gets the handoff. Little much. It was an ambitious jump. He wanted to get to his personal best and then possibly surpass that. And he's still limping. You got to wonder if that's going to affect how he sets up in terms of, not only leg drive after the setup, but even getting into the setup. You can hear. Who do you think it is when you hear the crowd going nuts like that? Who do they see waiting in the wings? Emil Norlin of Sweden, 23 years old, 190 kilo for him, 5 kilo jump. And you saw danger with the butt rising. I wonder if the coaching staff saw it, had a quick conversation with him as well. You know they're watching us just the same. Pay attention. Look good to me.
Yeah.
Look good to the judges. Quick fist pump, and there's another 5 kilo towards his total, putting on a clinic in front of the fans.
Yeah, you can really see them scrutinizing his butt there, making sure it's staying down, but it did.
They were going to play tough with him, but he gave him no reason to. And 192.5 kilo loaded on the bar for Luc Tremblay of Canada. Had an excellent squat session. Bench is going well. Going to add another 7.5 kilo to his total if he can hit this. Luke looking to end off his day on the podium. Every kilo is going to count.
Seems to be having a wee bit of trouble setting up there.
Presses it out.
Seems like a bit more work than he would have liked, but a good lift.
3 white lights. Gives a thumbs up. Fist pump from the judges. From the coaches. Sorry, not the judges. That'd be a little biased.
Well, just a little bit.
Yeah. 202 being loaded on the bar. And Vladislav's eyes the world record. He's took a 10 kilo jump from his opener to his second. His opener looked like a warm-up. And the world record is another 10 kilo plus some change. So he's pacing himself. You see the direction he's heading. Let's see how 202.5 moves. 192.5, almost a joke for him. 202.5, it's going to be work.
If he's going to go toe-to-toe with Emil, he's going to need this. All right.
Okay, it was nice. Is it, and he gets it. Is it, that's 202.5. Is it 10 kilo 0.5 nice?
I don't necessarily think so.
I don't either, and here's where the temptation of a world record can throw you off. If the world record wasn't right there, he wouldn't even be tempted to go for that. You would look at it, well, what's a random number? So 7.5, I think. But because the world record's so close, sometimes you can get so romantically attached. 2 months of training lead in, all you're thinking about, he already told you before and he had it in mind, and there's the temptation.
And if you look at the nominated deadlifts, he has the second highest deadlift, and he's directly behind Emil. So if he wants to chase him, that chip could be important.
There we go. And you know what? I like it. He's opting to say, you know what? 5 kilo. Pick up 5 more kilo. It's 5 less kilo I have to deadlift. World record, possibly at the Europeans, some other time. And that's the veterans move, and I like it. 167.5 for Damien Stanke of Norway. Not today. I know what you mean when you said the chip would be nice, but
not as nice
if
as
it's
5
not,
kilos.
If it's not actually there, yeah. If it's not there, it's not there. For anyone who doesn't know, when we reference a chip, so you can only move up in increments of 2.5. When you have that chip, you move up in whichever increment is over top of the world record by 0.5, and it makes it awkward for anybody chasing you afterwards. In the total, you only have to move up 0.5. They got to go up the other 2.5 kilo to the next increment. I hope I explained that right. It's
no, you're correct.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
when I say it, okay, good.
We've got a 5 kilo jump for Will out of the USA.
Wild Bill Hemmen. Not sure if he likes the nickname. I do.
Wild Bill. All right.
And he's anything but wild. He's pretty conservative. And whoa. No, they should take that. Yeah, it's a wasting energy at that point when it starts to return.
It's a bit surprising, honestly, after that second. Looked pretty solid, but just got a little bit out of that line, and sometimes that just happens with the bench press. You'll get a little bit out of place.
Yeah, you said it before and you can say it again. It is true. The bench press is a very technical lift. You can grind out a conventional dead. You can sometimes grind out a squat if you're in position, keep your bar pass straight. But those benches can be tough. Cut it too soon. 167.5 for Daniel Saber of Sweden. It got a little too exciting. 165 he missed. 165 he came back and hit. Adds 2.5 kilo. I think it's a good call.
Oh,
wow.
Did he lift his butt, though?
Judges say no. 165 initially looked like it was a strength issue. Hits it in the return and then puts another 2.5 kilo on top and hits it again.
It's a veteran move right there.
Yeah, he pulled himself together and summoned the strength. Now, Ben Wharton of Great Britain, 175 kilo, 2.5 kilo jump from his second attempt. And if you like a guy who gets fired up for his lifts, you're going to like Ben.
Lets out a huge scream. And it's so funny, the stark difference that you'll see between some of these lifters. Some of them will just outwardly yell and smack themselves, and then other ones will just walk up to the bar like
Bill Hammond.
Yeah, like they're getting ready to read a book or something.
Yep.
Oh,
it was a nice effort. I thought I saw a down up. I say it hush.
Yeah,
okay.
The littlest bit, that stinks.
He knows it. He's telling him, game close. 180 once again for Cameron St. Amand. He's hit 185. Let's see if he can add 5 more kilo. It's going to help his cause if he wants to end up on the podium at the end of the day. I mean, only moving forward with his opener squat, and that's where he wanted to cover a lot of ground. It's going to be difficult, but he's putting in some work. All is not lost.
Really working hard to get set up here.
Yeah, take your time, as you like to say. You got a minute, use it. It looks good from our angle. I'm speaking for you. Sorry there, Joe. And
No,
3 white lights.
I agree.
That's when I'm showing the Canadian bias when I'm trying to speak for it.
I do the same with USA.
Yeah, fair enough. And he picks up 7.5 more kilo for his total. He lost a little ground in the squat, where he wanted to end up anyways. Still got the gold medal, but he had plans for. And picking up a little bit of ground in the bench press now. Tala from Turkey with 190. Once again, he missed it on his second. Looking to bounce back if St. Amand can be any kind of inspiration for him. We've seen it happen before. He'd love to make it happen again.
It's interesting with St. Amand's slightly below expectation performance. His countryman, Luke, who's up next, is looking like he might actually be able to place top 3 now.
Well, overall, in terms of the points Canada's going to get out of this weight class, it's looking good. They got 2 lifters in the top 4, and by the end of the day, they would love to have 2 lifters in the top 3. They're facing stern opposition, though. $195 for Luke Tremblay of Canada. 2.5 kilo over his second attempt. We both thought it was work. Likely a good decision by the Canadian coaching staff.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be so close to get onto the podium. 2.5 kilo doesn't seem like much, but it might be the difference end of the day. And I think he's collected it. And he has. Strip 2.5 kilo off his third attempt, please, for the deadlift.
Honestly, that was a bit easier than his second, if you ask me.
He's just warming up, and he started off strong. Where's he going to end? And you hear the crowd. Emil, who's probably going to end up on cereal boxes after today. 195 for his third bench.
Do they do that here?
He doesn't look like he eats cereal. too many carbs. 5 kilo jump from his second. He'll be on billboards. He'll be in movies. He needs an agent. And they're almost trying to will him to lock out.
And it works. Did his butt move, though?
No, they also willed his butt to stay down. 3 white lights, and he looks unstoppable today.
He's not, or excuse me, not 6 from 6 currently.
Whoa.
And he's a puller, so that makes him even more dangerous.
So when you hear that, and he's fighting for lockout, and it's like a rush from the crowd. Now Vladislav adding 5.5 kilo to his bench. Bigger picture, hoping to add 5.5 kilo to his total. And big benchers usually don't have big deadlifts. If that's what you're hoping for and you're from a different nation, well, keep hoping. He's got a big dead. He's a complete lifter, and he doesn't seem to be missing very often. And he doesn't miss here from what I could see. There you go.
There we are.
Firmly grabbing the gold medal in the bench press, and the action is heating up in the 105 juniors. Taking another shot of this bench. Beautifully done. You know what? I think they absolutely made the right call with that final bench for
Agreed.
Vladislav. Any more and his butt would have rose a little too much. And we are going to take a quick 10-minute break. You cannot go anywhere. Make sure you're back in 10 minutes. This battle is super close, and you've seen how things can change on a dime in the deadlift event. See you in 10 from Six Pack Lapidat.
Joe Stanek.
Welcome back to the IPF 2019 World Classic Championships, live from Helsingborg, Sweden. It's a six-pack Lapidat with my man Joe Stanek in its 105 juniors. It's already been exciting. We've had some close calls, facing elimination, one lift left. Saint Amand snags a gold in the bench press. And then Vladislav running a clinic that was in the squat. Vladislav running a clinic in the bench. What are we going to have in the deadlifts? Not sure yet.
We will see. The junior world record deadlift is 353 kilos.
It's looking vulnerable, isn't it?
Yeah, Emil is opening on 330 kilos, and he's looking to sweep that junior deadlift record away from Rondell Hunt of Trinidad and Tobago.
190 puts Ren on the board for Japan. And we are split in two flights. This is flight A. 205 on the bar for Herrera Ortiz.
Deadlift is always an interesting event because we'll see some of the lifters really shine because they're deadlift specialists. We'll also sometimes see those very same lifters not have such a good event because they're gassed.
And on top of that, just dynamically, the way they're built, some people who are shorter squatter, it squats their event, possibly bench press, but it's tougher to get down, grab the bar, and get a big deadlift in. Whereas other gentlemen, the way they're built, they might have a modest bench press, come back for the deadlift and really cover some ground. Everybody's got their specialties, and some people are Mr. Consistency and run right through, like former 105 champion. Well, I guess current 105 champion for the time being, for at least for another week. Bryce Lewis, who's Mr. Consistency himself.
Shout out Bryce if you happen to be watching.
220 puts Pereira on the board for Sri Lanka. 230 being loaded.
Now, Ryan, here's an interesting question. What are your feelings as far as meat nutrition? Do you feel like that plays a big part in why some of these lifters may gas out by deadlifts? I certainly feel that's the case.
Yeah, 100%. I've seen it firsthand. I felt it firsthand early goings, and I've seen it firsthand. You could see people, you should be eating, you should be consuming something, and they're like, no, it's okay. And I get it. You're nervous, adrenaline through your body. You don't feel hungry. It's not about eating to satiate yourself. It's eating to put gas in the tank. Bill Helmsen takes 230, gets the down command, and it's good. And it's absolutely, look at, calories are energy. That's your energy source. If you're back home and you didn't eat all day at work and after work went to the gym, are you expecting to have an all-time best training day? It would sound silly. Why is it not silly come meet day, despite the nerves and everything that's going on? You got to try to overcome that or find something you can consume.
Absolutely. Powerlifting, the event itself, powerlifting, is not that taxing in terms of calories burned. But what is taxing is not eating anything. You're lifting when you normally would be eating, so you got to make sure that you get those calories in when you can. And usually, if you don't, it's deadlifts where you start to feel that, because it's at the end of the day.
It'll catch up. 250 kilo for Hosohata of Japan. Sumo pull a little slower than I would expect, but sometimes that's the way sumo goes.
Good lift.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't have to be burning a lot of calories with activity if you're 105 kilo large male, not eating all day, just maintaining your size and muscle mass, which a lot of powerlifters walk around with. Takes a certain amount of calories just there, and you'll feel a little faint if you haven't eaten. And then you add in the excitement, adrenaline.
Now, we were talking about this gentleman from Ireland earlier, saying he probably has a pretty big pull. We were correct.
Yeah, opening with 250. Long arms, but he also has long legs to get past. And that was very easy. Stood out of a chair. Wouldn't have been any quicker.
Here comes your man.
My man.
Your favorite in this flight, it seems.
My favorite, sounds like a crowd favorite as well. Angus McKay of New Zealand. 295 is his best. 282.5 is on the bar. And I got a feeling 295 won't be his best by the end of the day. And look it.
He's a showman.
Flashing the pearly whites. But as the bar gets heavier, I think when he approaches the bar on the platform, you're going to see a change in demeanor from this young man.
Ooh.
Yep, and you can roll the bar forward if you think there's a little bit of baby powder where you're stepping.
It's still so strange. Some lifters will ask me for talc in the back, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? Oh, baby powder.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody said that to me earlier. I wasn't sure.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got good form.
Yeah, that's some really good technique.
Let me see him before I leave, please. Keeping him in suspense. 3 whites.
I really like his patience off the floor. Something you can really look out for on these replays out there is seeing the back position of the lifters. Something that so many sumo, it seems like sumo especially pullers, just because the lift is typically harder off the ground. You'll really start to see lifters' backs go. Rather than being patient and letting that slack come out of the bar, they'll let the bar pull the slack out of them, and then it'll fly off the floor, and then they'll miss at the knees.
That's right. Vila Campa Estalo of Spain, 285 kilo on the bar. Double overhand hook grip, conventional pull.
One of those advantages that conventional has is you can definitely grind through a breakdown in form like that.
And he leans pretty far back. And here's where he gets 3 whites. You got to be a little conservative with the lean sometimes. If the lean actually makes your knees not locked because you're so far back, and you just got to get your shoulders back. Not those knees look locked. Okay, I agree with it.
Yeah. Those the cue that I'll often hear for that sort of mistake is just stand up with it. Nothing else. Just stand up with it.
200 kilo loaded on the bar. Sakaki Bera of Japan. Only 21, but already a 5-year veteran competing. This would equal his personal best in competition. Similar puller, but not all that wide a stance. One hand's thumbless. Doesn't want his thumb rubbing against his thigh, I guess.
It's actually an interesting technique.
I've seen it a few times, but here's this background story. 3 white lights. One young lady pulling for gold. So her first pull, thumbless, lost it at grip. Second pull, thumbless, lost it at grip, but had it right at lockout. Pulling, same situation as Saint Amon was earlier. Either she hits it gold or misses, bombs out. And I'm saying on the feed, I hope she just wraps the thumb around the bar. Does, hits it, and the rest is history. 212.5. Jesus David Herrera Ortiz, 7.5 kilo jump. He's pausing there. Oh my goodness. I thought he might pull through.
Same guy who had that crazy grind of a bench.
He's a grinder. He is strong. He must practice pausing at the knees and pausing with the press.
So.
I don't know how you kind of build up that kind of resilience, but or it's all heart.
I need that kind of grind.
Yeah, just for my day-to-day. 235 for Pereira from Sri Lanka.
Usually you'll see very flat shoes in the deadlift, although I did see a few in Olympic shoes today, which was a bit strange.
Whoa, that was all types of untidy. revving the engine, I don't think there's infractions. Well, they disagree. Looks like they both thought ramping.
I was going to say, yeah. For sure. Oh, and then knees.
Yeah, knees are a
little soft.
Yeah, you hate to see anybody bomb on the scoreboard. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. So we're in the second attempts, and he's good. He just jumped 15 kilo. He logged 220 in his opener. Everybody's safe in the flight A. It's just a matter of adding kilos to the total.
Sort of nods there.
As though, like you could give a nod for give me the squat command. You can't nod me into a down command. I'm looking for certain things before I give it to you.
Yeah.
But he was selling. Yeah, I'm locked out. Some people call those, we're talking about those slippers, deadlift slippers. I call them ninja slippers.
Ninja slippers.
Yeah, I wear them around the house.
Really?
Ninja slippers.
Really?
Well, you never know.
The only person I know who actually wears deadlift slippers in public is a gentleman named Darrington Wright.
And he's a ninja. So-
He actually is a ninja. You
So
called that perfectly.
You never know. Now, talking about shoes, are these squishy shoes with the heel like regular track shoes?
They look like they're one of those CrossFit Metcon types that are
Hard heeled, or there's
They're-
a heel though? No.
yeah
Or?
yeah they're like a flatter shoe, but they aren't quite flat. I don't know. I see David Ricks pulling these, and he has a big deadlift. Ooh.
Hosohata.
Ooh, so that is an example of what I was talking about, where he did not exactly pull the slack out of the bar, but he was strong enough to overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
You can see right here on this replay, right as he goes to pull, he just sort of yanks the bar. Actually, not as bad now that I'm looking on
Different
the replay.
angles. It's funny how the angles sometimes, and we have the privilege of having these angles in the booth here.
You can really tell a lifter is good at pulling slack from the bar when you see just a little bit of bend in it right as it leaves the floor.
262.5 for Mark Stell of Ireland.
There we go. Exactly what I said. Just a small amount of bend, and he makes light work of that.
3 whites, and you're wondering, are they going to let him loose for the third attempt? Because we haven't seen it yet. 300 kilo on the bar. Vala Campa Estalo of Sweden, Spain. He hit 285, 15 kilo jump. When you're at the upper range around 300 kilo, 15 kilos isn't that bad.
You can hear his family and teammates yelling for him from the crowd.
He's pulled 300 kilo in comp before. He looks fired up.
Pulls hook grip.
Yeah.
Ooh, no.
Not much. He looks a little dazed there.
It seemed like that was going to be relatively easy from the amount you saw that bar bend when he pulled on it. Maybe he just could not get tight enough.
Certainly had a lot of tension on it. 300 kilos stays on the bar for Angus McKay. 17.5 kilo jump for him.
Must be feeling really good. That's quite the jump. Oh, he sees that baby powder on the floor and rolls the bar to get away from it.
You have the whole platform to work with.
Says, no, sir, I do not want to slip.
No, thank you. Not with 300 kilo in my hands.
Another hook grip puller. Has quite a close grip on that bar for somebody who's this tall.
Yep, shoulder width. He's got lovely form. Let's see how 17.5 kilos slows him down.
Ooh.
There's some speed wobbles there.
Just a slight dip at the top.
Yeah.
So
you know what? If he takes another run at it,
that is what your countryman, Bryce Krawczyk might call quad finger. You can see on this replay, because his grip is so close, he ends up dragging his fingers on his quads.
Ah, and was it opening up on him?
Didn't look like it was opening up, but I think because he didn't quite get his knees out of the way and it was touching his quads, it slowed him down just enough that it made it hard.
205 on the bar for Ren Sakakibara of Japan.
So if I were his coach, I would tell him lock your knees just the slightest bit earlier and you should be fine. You don't want to lock them too early because then you bring balance into it, but I think he locked them just a little bit late.
Got a little excited or was pulled out of position? Well, I guess it depends. We'd have to ask him. It was a hell of a fight, and sometimes the body does things on its own when you're under duress like that. Now, 5 kilo jump, 5 kilo PR for Ren. Nope.
No.
Not today.
Clutching his back there. Hopefully nothing's wrong.
Yeah, a little tight. He's been putting in a hard day's work. 212.5 on the bar for Herrera Ortiz of Colombia. Missed it on his second. Hoping to rebound and get it on his third. If he can.
This guy is a grinder.
Yeah, he can. He can grind. He's been grinding a lot, though. How much more can he grind? I think he's already emptied the tank.
Yeah, unfortunately. His problem there is exactly what I've been saying. He's just not quite getting the slack out of the bar. That's something that I think is, it seems like the most simple concept, but it's probably the hardest thing for newer lifters to understand how to do properly.
Yeah, especially conventional. Lock your lats, sit back a little. The slack kind of comes out. You could feel it, but 235 on the bar. Pereira from Sri Lanka missed his second attempt, retaking it with his third.
Been competing just 1 year.
Already at the Worlds.
Oh,
Showed tons of heart, but I'm not sure if there was
Yeah.
ramping, down, up, and infractions.
yeah, just all across the board.
Yep, cards getting thrown at him. Showed a lot of heart, though, and 245 loaded for Wilhelmsen of Iceland. 5 kilo jump for him. He's pretty out of position. It wasn't going to happen, but
Yeah.
and you could tell they're getting tired. 4 up, 4 down in terms of the third attempts. 272.5 for Mark Stell. Can he turn the tide? We've had 6 failures in a row.
Yeah, it's getting late. It's about to be 8 o'clock here, local time.
Wowzers, I'd be in bed back home
As would I, honestly.
with a warm glass of milk. 10 kilo jump. Well above his previous personal best before the competition.
I'm sorry, did you say a warm glass of milk?
No. No, I didn't.
Do you want a cookie to go with that?
I'd like
there,
to
Ryan?
strike that from the record.
The Irishman really taking his time before this last pull. He really wants it.
Takes a big breath, clasps the belt, gets tight. Whoa! And that was pretty quick and smooth, straight up like an arrow. 3 white lights, well done.
His first 700-pound deadlift. I'm not sure if they even use pounds over there in Ireland.
600 pound, you mean?
Or, right, sorry,
Yep.
I wish 700. No, sorry, 600 pounds. Apparently I'm getting tired too. Yeah, 600
We're all a little
pounds.
tired. It is like, what are we pulling in 15 to 16 hour days?
Oh, yeah.
And the excitement, it's not like working at a desk. My heart can't take it. I'm going to have to sleep for a week when I'm home. But until then, 280. Hosohata from Japan.
It's a big jump. This is 17.5 kilos.
Yep. It's a bit all or nothing. It's so far above anything he's ever pulled. Only 260 in the past, and this is 280. A bit of a Hail Mary pass at the end of the game.
This would get him a medal in the deadlift. No.
Yeah, well, even if he got it, we're saying medal in deadlift, but we got another flight.
True.
If it held, but it's a big if. 302, so look at this. Villacampa Estalo of Spain missed 300. It's only 2.5 kilo, but he went up 2.5 kilo, matching Angus McKay, who attempted and missed 300 kilo and went up 2.5 kilo. These gentlemen pulling for the biggest pull of Flight A. There's no medals. Flight B's coming, and some gentlemen are opening up at 300. But nonetheless, we got a deadlift battle, and
No.
too much. McKay can change his last pull. Well, no, the bar can't decrease now because of
Lot number.
yeah. So here we are. In the end, 302 or 300. It's going to feel very similar.
666. The
Yeah.
number of beast.
Yep. Maybe he's trying to summon some demons to help him. Look, he was super strong for that one. He's just amped up the intensity. Sometimes that's all it needs to make the difference. And perhaps a different timing of locking the knees, and that's all it takes.
Here his teammates cheering him on. Sits it right in.
Oh, experiencing turbulence, but he's hanging in there.
Ah,
So much heart on this young man. Oh, that's so close. That's so close. Wow.
oof.
Grab your drinks. We got turbulence, ladies and gentlemen. And he never let go.
Yeah, so see, if he would have just locked his knees the slightest bit earlier.
It looks like he's trying. Those knees are knocking. 277.5. So Flight B is now going underway. We're going right back into openers. It always feels weird. And look at that. Only one hit with the last attempts there for Flight A. And that shows you where, in the end, when everybody's pushing, it's hard to call. So the excitement levels drop, if temporarily, as we go back into openers for Flight B. 277.5 for Ben Wharton of Great Britain. He's hit 295. The dramatic conclusion is coming.
Will we see that world record fall? That's the biggest question.
Well, it's one of them. Also, who's going to be the world champion? Unless you think it's already decided. I think it's too close. But
It is kind of close, actually. Oh,
Wow, that was
the
fast.
Russian. This is interesting. The Russian actually upped his opener by 22 kilos
And
so he could pull after Norling.
And so, what's your scouting report on the Vladislav?
So that's the thing. The only thing that I saw on his social media was the bench press record. That's what he was talking about.
So here's where, if he is a big puller, and he was keeping it a secret, and you think you're pacing yourself well, you're really falling behind. We'll see. Or is he opening far too heavy, and he's a lot closer to the limit than everyone else with their openers? 280 on the bar. Damien Stanky of Norway.
You
Double
know,
overhand.
if I know the Russians, I would say that they. Wow, that was.
Yeah, that was fast. All the way
Jeez.
up. Top floor, please.
If I know the Russians, they would not make that move if they didn't think that their lifter was capable.
That lift was a no call. Let me know if you see an infraction here. I didn't see an infraction.
How was that a no
myself.
lift?
But he didn't get a single white, so he can't go to the jury. Yeah, the Russians must know something. They must be confident. The Russian coaching staff is obviously very seasoned and makes very few mistakes. 295 for Wild Bill Hemmon of the U.S.
Wow.
Like he was picking something off the ground he had dropped out of his pocket.
They are really calling the shoulder locking a lot.
Can't see it from that angle.
Yeah, that seems fine. But that was the opposite angle of what gave him the red card, so.
295 stays in the bar for Luke Tremblay, who's having a phenomenal meet.
He's currently slated in third? Third.
See if it can continue. If it does, he might just wind up on the podium. Three whites, and with Luke, watch the bar speed, not the facial expressions. He looks like he's under duress with his opening squat and sailed right through all three of his lifts. Some guys, it's more the bar speed you got to pay attention to now. Cameron St. Amand, 300 kilo on the bar, had a rough time making his weight cut. Took 2 weigh-ins to reach the 105 just in the nick of time. Very quick turnaround before the squat event, trying to rehydrate. It's been a while. We got to think he's back up to 100%. Has he drained himself with these lifts?
This might be the first time that he has outpulled his squat in a long time. Pretty solid.
Yep. Slow and steady. 300 kilo though. Now his personal best in competition is 315. The way 300 moved is 315 in the tank. He might need a personal best.
Just to be able to stay in this fight.
300 kilo stays in the bar for Daniel Saber of Sweden.
His countryman might be a little bit out of range, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, it seems that way. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna love those shoulders.
Yeah, I would throw the red card his way.
300 kilo once again stays in the bar. Tala Satan of Turkey.
Yeah, that stinks. They were locked, and he kind of let them slip forward.
He's looking down, and it's pretty easy to slump forward with 300 kilo.
Very true. Ooh.
Let's see how he handles this. Yeah.
Notice what he's wearing.
The knee sleeves, covering soft knees. I'm onto him. Oh no!
Ooh, might not even need to worry about that.
Oh no! And Tala, yeah, he's limping though, and that's, you know, he hurt himself in the squat. The thing is, when you know this happened in the squat, and you're limping in bench and limping in squat, you gotta lower the weight. Don't chase bad money. You know, you have to adjust on the day and call these audibles. If not the lifter, the coaching staff. But listen to the crowd go nuts for Emil Norlin. I think the roof is going to cave in if they don't settle down. 330 on the bar. And this is an opener. What are they going to do if he's pulling for the win?
they're cheering for him like he's some kind of Swedish superhero.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe he is, though.
He's got the strength of one.
Wow. Look at this. Basking in the cheers.
Also the hairstyle of one.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes me feel humble. 332.5 on the bar for Vladislav. And you're wondering, was this always a bluff? Holding his opener, a fake opener the whole time. Never posting it on social media, his training. Let's see how this pulls. If it is, my God, we got ourselves quite the battle. And the battle is on.
Oh boy!
Wow!
Now we got a fun one.
Look at, I love myself a good movie with action. We had it. I love myself a good movie with suspense. Had that in the squats. Thank you, Mr. Saint Amon. Now we got a plot twist with a surprise ending.
I don't know. Who you got, man? What do you think?
Well, if I'm going anything against the Swede, I better keep a hushed tone because I'll get mobbed by the crowd and need security to get out of here. But,
Oh, okay, so they matched jumps.
oh, man, this is too close. Neck and neck. And 280, once again, for Damien Stanky from Norway. He needs this to register a total and keep his hopes alive. It was at the lockout. Put the shoulders back, put the hips forward, keep the knees locked, whatever they didn't like. Small adjustments. The strength should be there. Looks a little better to me. The judges
right,
agree,
lads.
and there you go. They ask, you give, and you move forward. 295 for Ben Wharton of Great Britain. This will match his personal best.
And Ben is getting fired up.
Yeah. Big Ben. See what I did there? Great Britain, Big Ben. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's a long day, and I still got it.
Ooh.
Whoa! All intensity at this point. Do they like the shoulders? Oh, 2-1 they do. He's got to be nearing the edge. 300 kilo. Daniel Saber of Sweden. Missed it in his opener. Looking to retake it now. He's pulled 325 previously.
You'll notice his really high belt position.
Yep.
A lot of Swedes pull that way.
And you do too, weren't you saying?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think that it sort of helps get the lats tight, which in my opinion is very, very important for the deadlift.
Oh, wow. It looks
Got
better.
his shoulders back that time.
It looks better.
Yes.
Judges agree. Keeps his hopes alive for a total. It's registered. It's official. I don't know how much more he's going to go from there, but at this point, I think he'll just take that and be happy. Anything else is gravy. 300 stays on the bar. Now, can Tala Seton of Turkey do what the Swede just did and get himself on the board, a total registered, pull himself out of the fire, and avoid disaster? Whoa.
Oh, no.
It's not looking good. He's limping. If it's injury, it's hard to even willpower yourself through an injury like that when walking is impacted. 310 being loaded for Wild Bill Hemmen of U.S. He's pulled 317.5, just shy of 700.
And these pulls will be big for him, especially leading into his next competition, which will more than likely be our nationals.
Yep. But I'm thinking that A little early to be looking ahead to October.
Oh, no.
Always
we're-
one eye on October, one eye on
We're
the.
all about October in the States.
Here we go. Wow.
Wow.
He's so smooth, never changes his facial expression. It's so hard to read. Is he close to the limit? Is he just standing up with it? Definitely, if you're handling him, you have to ask him, because if you're looking at his face, you're not going to get it. Luke Tremblay, 310.
Look at him. He's looking like he's going to attack that bar. You can see his family in the crowd.
Oh, he's a strong lad, isn't he?
and
And
he-
that
he
moved like it's
nods.
opener. 15 kilo can't slow him down. What can? And can anything? He's storming right onto the podium. Not sure you can stop him today, but Saint Amon, his teammate, is sure as heck going to try, isn't he?
Absolutely. 12-kilo jump for Cameron.
300 was work, but the intensity is definitely ramped up. Look at him. He's crossing himself here. He's ready to scrap, and
2.5 below his best ever.
it's the World Championships. You got to think he's ready to pull his best ever.
Oh, no.
He's giving a thank you to the crowd. He'll be back out. Now-
He's shaking his head to the coach, though. It seems like he's saying he's done.
Does he have an injury? I'm not sure, because he had a grip and then he switched his grip at the last second. Kind of odd. 347.5. And Vladislav surprised everybody. Hey, surprise, I'm also a deadlifter. And is crashing the deadlift party and possibly ruining the local Swedes' day. Neck in neck, 347.5 will be loaded for Norling and Vladislav. We have a back-to-back display, and we could judge who's pulled it better. That was
Not
work.
bad, not bad.
His work. I think he'll have it.
Yes.
But the top end is right near. And now he's nudged ahead. So Emil Norling.
And this is where that home field advantage that we were debating about
Yep.
comes into play.
Nah, it wasn't a debate. Science. Science, baby. And 347.5 is on the bar. Oh, he's a showman, eh? Let the crowd wonder, but don't let them wonder too long. Oh, wow. I think he's going to let a timeout. See if Vladislav can pull his third, because I'm not sure he could. Look at it. I thought that was his limit. Load the bar and go all in. Do you think that's possible, or am I making a storyline that's not there? Because he can't. He's not hurt, is he?
I don't think so. I'm a bit confused, to be honest. I don't know why you would do that. I mean, I can understand saving energy, but too big of a jump, and it's
just out of reach.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think 347.5 is Vladislav's limit, and I don't think he's pulling any more. But I do agree. If
400.
Yeah, that's a placeholder. He is coming back out, though. So the strategy I gave is the strategy they're taking. It's not going to be 400. Look at the crowd, and it's science. The home crowd can give you strength. It's not 400 type strength.
Oh, of course, of course.
He's not 400 nice.
So maybe what we're thinking here is that if the Russian misses,
Yeah.
then he'll change it down to, well, see, but then he couldn't change it any lower than 362.5.
The Russian's not going to pull 362.5, though. Vladislav
true.
is not going to pull anywhere close to that. He's just wants all of his effort for one pull, and he's willing to go out on the shield for it. And here it is, 300. He needs this. Wow, the knees locked, though, a little early, and that's a great display of heart, but Tala, too tough for his own good.
Continuing through the meet despite injured.
Yep.
I really wish that he would have lowered his deadlift opener so that wouldn't have happened.
100%, because he kept pulling on that injured leg. 300 kilos stays on the bar for Big Ben Wharton of Great Britain.
Big Ben.
22 years old. They're going to clean the bar for him.
This is 300 kilos. A big milestone for any lifter in their career.
100%. He's never hit it before. It'd be a great way to finish his day. If intensity alone can lift this.
And here's teammates cheering for him.
Holy moly!
My Lord! Oh!
And this guy is so intense. Yikes.
Jeez, to have pulled that and drop it. Oh.
Oh, wow. That was like, he went straight on Hulk smash for us. 312.5, Daniel Saber of Sweden. So he missed 300 in his opener, retook it. This is probably around where he wanted to end up on his third. It's a 12.5 kilo jump. He's pulled 325 before, but who knows the type of day he had before he had 325. So here we are. He could finish an even 750 kilo, move himself up a rank. One ranking moving up is more points towards Team Sweden, contributing to the bigger picture for pride in nation.
He's just got to make sure he locks those shoulders back.
And don't let the knees stay soft. The Swedes, bated breath. A little too much. A little too much. They loaded the bar with what I think they want to move up a ranking and grab some T points. Fair play. Now, Cameron St. Amand, he waved as though it might be the end and nodded to the judges, or sorry, the head coaches. 315 is on there. Are they just well, is that him right there?
Yeah, it seems like they might have given him a pep talk.
And he's got, I don't know what he's listening to, but whatever it is getting him into the right mental state to come back out and give it one more go. It's valiant. And you got to respect the fact he's going out on the shield.
He's got to believe.
You got to believe.
Lifting is an extremely mental game. If you don't believe you can do it, you'll never be able to.
He can net himself a bronze medal in the deadlift with this last pull. One more medal for his collection. Nope, not today. But he came out and gave it one last go.
Good sportsman, shaking all the judges' hands.
Yep. $315 for Luc Tremblay, his teammate, who's piecing together the meat of his life.
This will be a 5 kg best.
And he's doing it at the right time, establishing himself on the podium.
Oh, and this is big for him because Will of the United States is looking to pull past him.
Whoa, and Luke is strong all the way to the top and consistent all day. Consistency stays. 3 white lights. If you want his medal, you better come ready. And Damian Stanky wants Luke's deadlift medal and to jump up the rankings from 10 to 7 and throw some more points towards Team Norway. We have had only 2 successful lifts in the entire 105 third attempt round for both flights. That is an extremely high failure rate. These men are pushing themselves to the limit. Whoever hits, whoever misses, it's completely going to change the top at the podium. Couldn't be more dramatic.
What a jump, too, from 280 to 317.
Well, I mean, it's going to jump him up the deadlift rankings from 10 to 3 and get him a bronze medal.
Okay. Well, now we know that is against the rules.
Whoa! Where did this come from?
Oh my goodness.
Holy!
Just could not hold on to it.
Yikes. And it was a Hail Mary pass that almost pays off. Rarely do you see in the deadlift rankings from 10 to podium.
All right, here
Now,
we
what
go.
was it that they caught him there? The rule in terms of what was he doing there?
Apparently can't have your sleeves of your t-shirt rolled
Gotcha,
up.
gotcha. 317.5 loaded. Wild Bill Hemmen from the U.S. He'll stay in 5th overall. However, that deadlift bronze is looking better and better, isn't it?
Yeah, he had 325 in it, and they changed it down, probably just so he could nail this and get the bronze deadlift medal.
Wants a little deadlift trinket to bring home for the kids. Whoa, I think he might have it.
Yes.
3 white lights. Thank you very much.
Hugs Eric Bodhorn. What a great day for him. It's a massive PR total.
Okay, so Emil Norling settled on 355.
Okay. Interesting.
And he's going to come out. So he's going to dead first. I thought he was going to make sure he deaded last. It was a game of chicken. He blinked first, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well,
I'm wondering if maybe he pulled an in-between in the warm-up room that we didn't see, because
well, he looks confident.
taking this,
Oh, wow.
it's such a large jump. You can hear his countrymen going nuts. The Russian-
This is 10 kilo above anything he's ever pulled, but if he's ever going to hit a PR, he needs the pull of his life. It's the perfect setting. Whoa!
Oh my
And no
Lord.
wonder he was confident.
He knew
Whoa!
as soon as he stood up.
Whoa! And that might have been it.
That was one of the easiest world records I've ever seen.
Yikes!
Ooh, all right. So this will,
World record pull and puts himself in gold medal position. Vladislav needs to make history. World record deadlift, gold medal for the world title, gold medal in the deadlifts. It's the trifecta. You couldn't ask for more in one deadlift. It all comes down to one final pull for all the marbles.
you have to remember this is something that he's been working all his life for. They start so young in Russia.
Huh. And he's doing it in Emil's home country. Hostile territory. Let's see what happens. Whoa! Oh, right at the knees! Oh, so strong. So strong. And I respect the fact that he went for it. The Swede celebrating not for his loss, but for Narling's victory. And that was an action-packed 105 juniors right to the last pull. Outstanding action on platform 1 by all these lifters. Tons of heart, tons of skill, great execution, and the coaching staff gave it. And look at the celebrations. Yeah. Listen to the cheers in the crowd here. Only 4 successful lifts in the 3rd attempts. And if you could so you were asking me earlier if home court makes a difference, sir.
You are
Can
correct.
you feel it?
You are correct.
You're a believer. Listen, don't go anywhere. The medal ceremony is up. I think it's going to be an emotional one. And how can you watch something like this? I don't even think I have to sell you on coming back for the other sessions, and the Open hasn't even begun yet. Stay tuned. Six-pack lap at my man Joe Stanek. We're out. No, flick.
Okay, gentlemen, just before we present the trophies to the lifters, we have a new Category 2 referee, Mr. Nicholas Giuliani of Uruguay. He has passed his category 2 exam. He will be presented with his time. On the squats, in third place, with 235 kilos.
Or one of Richard's face.
Those are the last results. Last section, still on there. Ladies and gentlemen, please be standing for the national anthem of the United States of America. Without further ado, we will now move to the presentation for the 105 kilo juniors. Squat first. And in third place, look at how close that was, with 312.5 kilos taken on the bronze medal for the USA, William Head! Your silver medalist, 350 kilos from Canada, Luke Tremblay! And taking home the gold medal with 320 kilos, also from Canada. I guess this is what you guys will know about the trifecta. Cameron, 6, 5! Congratulations, gentlemen. Nice and smile for photos, please. Thank you, gentlemen. We now go on to the bench press. And in third place with 195 kilos, taking home the bronze medal from Sweden, Emil Norling! Silver medal